we should be clear, that same individual was approached by other candidates, okay? You need donations to run a campaign, let's be realistic. But to answer your second part of that question, okay? No, it won't be. And I've said that from the beginning, okay? We've got to be clear and transparent. And yes, I do believe in transparency. I don't believe in stepping out and having to answer baseless accusations that were made prior to the primary election. But now we're talking about felony crimes and issues like that. And let's be clear, not on me, and they've stated that. This is not about Vic Regalado, but it is about my donors. And I care very much about them. I do, because these are people that entrusted me to do what I told them that I was going to do if I'm elected, and that's important to me. And for that type of integrity to be questioned, yeah, I believe that I would step over here. And again, I woke up and about noon was informed that this was going to happen. Wasn't prepared. I don't have a scripted statement, but I'm here. Let's be transparent about it, and I'll answer those questions.
Let me ask you, because I've asked you before if you will tell us, and you haven't responded to my questions about whether you have stated, intimated, suggested in any way that any of these employees or this business stands to benefit from you being sheriff.
You absolutely did, and I meant to bring in my phone that had your text in it. What you asked me is, did I intimidate these people into doing
I said
it?
intimate.
Did
I said intimate. If it's the typo, my apologies.
Well, I guess I should have known that. Folks, I'm not going to respond to ridiculous questions. I will respond to about these questions because they're accusing my donors, okay? And I want to point out that on all these donors, okay, we have donor cards. That is not required by law. We've had the donor cards, and I'll read to you what it says at the bottom, and that should answer your question, Corey. And this is from the people who donate. The contribution listed above was freely and voluntarily given by me from my personal property. I have not directly been compensated or reimbursed for the contribution. These aren't required, yet they're on file. And they're on file from the people from ISTI. Okay, let's go back to what the statement over here that this was started by the Frontier. Ms. Brandstetter is here, okay? We allowed her and offered her to look at the checks, okay? Plain and simple. The problem I have is that why wasn't this asked of my other donors? Why wasn't this asked of the other candidates? And again, I go back to this. Had they made that equivalent, I don't think we're here today.
What about the
Mr.
felons donation?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
There was information about an Oklahoma City PAC ECM, which gave you a $5,000 donation, and it is discovered that on January 22nd, and it's discovered that this organization is not registered as a political action committee with the state ethics committee.
And again, you'll have to be more specific as to what company. I had a lot of donors, so.
ECM.
ECM.
There were only 2 PACs, and one of them was not registered with the Ethics Commission.
Yeah, it's not registered at all.
Okay, and I'll have to look into that and see. We've turned everything over to the Ethics Commission. I have not been notified by the Ethics Commission as to what that is.
You haven't went through all of your donors yet to define if they're legitimate or not.
Again, it has been turned over to the Ethics Commission. And I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not sure exactly the question there.
Well, the ethics committee is the one that makes it.
Well, don't you
Okay.
have people on your
Then
campaign, their jobs is to go through that type of material for you?
Yeah, and we have a very low-manned, I guess, campaign team to cut for overhead costs. At the beginning of this, it was me and the campaign consultant, okay? And it was me requiring, those donations came from going and knocking on doors, calling people, and getting down and working, okay?
But
to imply that any of these donations were simply handed to me because I'm Vic Regalado, I think would be kind of
as
careless.
a candidate for sheriff, and
Yes.
you would have an administration, would these types of people be on your staff? The people who may not be qualified or maybe oversight in registering and monitoring contributions or other activities?
If
that
I
you
understand
would
your
be
question
over at
correctly, are they
sheriff.
going to be on my staff at the sheriff's office?
What I'm saying is, this is an example of the type of people that you would hire to go with you as sheriff.
Yeah, because that one pack is not even registered in Oklahoma as a pack. I don't understand. To me, that seems like it's kind of illegal.
And oversight.
You know,
Very
and those
hard
are
to-
questions that, again, I don't come here with a prepared statement. I'll be more than happy to answer that question once I'm able to sit down and look at what you're talking about.
Can you
can
address
answer to
the,
the people
can
of
you
Tulsa right
address the contribution from the felon? I mean, he had conviction of
Yeah.
eluding police, firearms, drugs.
Absolutely.
You say you know these people?
Yeah,
Did they
yeah,
take
I
it?
do. And I'll tell you, we do our best to vet each of the donors, okay? I cannot use the systems that are in my job because it's illegal. Okay, so typically how we have to vet them is through OSCN. And since all of you appear to have looked at my donor list, you could see that there was quite a few of them. And I don't have a full staff. I can't afford a full staff, okay? And there's a reason why we put all those donations and send them to the Ethics Commission so that those can be vetted if there's further vetted, I guess you should say. In regards to the individual that was accused of felonies or convicted of felonies, that money's in the process of being returned.
Oh, it
Were
hasn't
any
been.
of the, you said there's 2 reserve deputies that have donated, were
Yes.
any of them involved in the fundraising efforts at ISTI?
No.
They weren't at those meetings, they didn't know those people, there was no
Oh.
cross-pollination?
Yeah, absolutely. The people at ISTI, and I don't know if you're familiar with them or what their company is, it's an oil and gas basically, okay? I was introduced to them personally outside of any of the 2 individuals that you're talking about.
Okay.
And it turns out that one of them apparently did know. I don't know. I can tell you that he's not the one that was responsible for introducing me to those individuals.
Okay, and he wasn't there during the, I guess you held like a fundraising effort out there or a meeting?
Or did they just
No, I
decide
sat
right-
down when I was introduced to this individual at ISTI. Like the majority of my donors, they said, well, sounds like a great guy, but you know what? I'm not going to hand over money until I meet and talk with him. So yeah, a meeting was set up. I was there with the individual that introduced me originally and the individual I think you're talking about. And another individual, and I can't remember who that was.
Would that also
and
include
we sat there-
ECM? Did you
I'm
meet
sorry?
with them also?
I'm sorry?
ECM, did you meet with them also?
No, there's a lot of donors I didn't meet with. Absolutely not. People sent in, after we gained steam, people started sending in money through our P.O. box and through the website. So no, not have I ever said that I have met every individual. Are we trying to